All right, buckle up, everybody, because we're about to take a deep dive into some seriously powerful material today.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to be talking about self-improvement,
Yeah.
that burning desire we all have to level up and become the best versions of ourselves.
It's so important.
And let me tell you, these sources we dug into, they're packed with actionable wisdom.
For sure. Not just going to inspire you.
Right.
They're going to give you the tools to make real change happen.
Totally.
You know, one of the things that really jumped out at me was the emphasis on self-awareness.
Oh, interesting.
Not just, in a surface level, knowing your strengths and weaknesses kind of way.
Right.
These sources describe it as like the foundation.
Okay.
The bedrock you build everything else on top of.
I like that, the bedrock. It makes me think of this one source. They
Yeah.
use this really cool metaphor about self-awareness. He said, imagine an unfinished building.
Okay.
It's shrouded in darkness.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
Self-awareness is the key that unlocks the door, floods the space with light,
And we
then suddenly...
see the potential,
Yes.
the structure,
Possibilities.
all of it.
It's like finally you're getting the blueprints to your own life.
Right. I love that. Blueprints to your own life. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
How can we possibly make informed decisions about our lives?
Right.
Set goals that really mean something to us.
Absolutely.
Build strong, healthy relationships.
If we don't even know ourselves.
Right. Exactly. If we don't have a clear understanding of, why we do the things we do, what's important to us,
What we really want.
what we really want, our tendencies, all of it.
I mean, it's like trying to navigate a maze in the dark, right? You're just bumping into walls.
You're going to get lost. And these sources, they don't shy away from the tough stuff either.
No, they don't.
They talked about how important it is to, shed those masks we wear to please other people.
It's so true.
Confront those shadow sides of ourselves.
We all have them. We do.
Ah,
And then embrace our authentic
that's
selves.
the key.
Flaws and all.
All the messy bits.
All the messy bits.
I mean, what do you think about that?
it's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
How does that resonate with you?
Well, to me, the sources are saying that real growth, like true growth, starts with radical honesty, It's about accepting yourself fully, like no judgment, just total acceptance.
Right.
And using that self-knowledge as like a springboard to launch yourself forward.
Totally. In fact, there's this one story in one of the sources that I keep thinking about.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
It's about this really successful entrepreneur.
Okay.
And he finally realized, after all this success, that his fear of failure, which he'd had for years and years, was actually rooted in something that happened to him when he was a kid.
Wow.
And once he understood that, once he unearthed that root, he was able to look at his fear differently
Interesting.
and actually use it
Wow.
to push his business forward.
That's a perfect example of, how self-awareness can be applied practically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about sitting around and thinking about ourselves. It's about using what we learn to make better choices.
Totally. And the sources, they highlight how this impacts relationships too.
Oh, for sure.
Like understanding your communication style
Right.
can prevent so many misunderstandings.
Oh my gosh, yes. So many arguments avoided.
And can lead to stronger bonds with
Absolutely.
the people you care about.
And they talk about how self-awareness helps you thrive in your career, too.
Yes. Finding work that truly lights you up.
Exactly. Imagine knowing exactly what kind of work environment you do your best in.
What roles really leverage your natural talents?
That's the power of knowing yourself. But they make one thing super clear.
What's that?
Self-awareness, it's not the finish line. It's like the starting point.
Right. You've got the blueprint now.
You've got the blueprints. Now it's time to start building.
I like that. And that brings us to the next element, setting goals.
Yes. Goals.
And taking action. One of the sources had this great analogy about a seed needing sunlight to bloom.
Oh, I love that.
Potential, it just stays dormant without the energy of goals and the consistent, nourishment of action.
It's like you have all the ingredients for an amazing meal,
Right.
but you never actually turn on the stove and cook anything.
You got to put those ingredients together
Apply some heat.
and transform them into something incredible.
Yes. And the sources get really practical here. They're not just telling us to dream big. They're giving us the tools to actually make it happen.
Totally. They delve into that whole SMART goals concept.
I love SMART goals. So good.
Making sure they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
It's such a good framework. It takes those big dreams and turns them into concrete steps, which, let's be real, can feel really overwhelming sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to get lost in the big picture.
Right. But they also emphasize something really important,
Mhm.
and that action is not a solo mission.
It takes a village.
We need support, a tribe of like-minded people, mentors who've walked the path before us.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the people in your life who inspire you,
Yes.
who challenge you to grow, who believe in your potential. You need to surround yourself with that energy.
It's fuel.
It really is.
And some of the sources even went so far as to say we should be actively seeking out these people,
How so?
like joining communities, attending events, reaching out to people we admire.
Really put yourself out there.
Yes. Building that supportive network can be a game changer.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And here's where things get interesting. They're very clear that the path to achieving those goals, to self-improvement, it's not always a straight line.
Oh, tell me about it. There's so many detours.
Unexpected turns.
Maybe even a few roadblocks along the way.
Oh, yeah. And one source even had this anecdote about an Olympic athlete who faced, a career-ending injury.
Oh, wow.
And instead of giving up, she took all that passion and channeled it into coaching.
Wow, that's awesome.
Became a mentor to a new generation of athletes. And it's just a beautiful example of how what we perceive as setbacks can actually lead to unexpected and fulfilling paths.
And the sources really urge us to embrace those twists and turns.
For sure.
Because they can be opportunities for growth, learning new things, discovering new passions and strengths we didn't even know we had.
It's all part of the journey. But let's be real. Navigating those challenges, it takes some serious willpower.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about self-discipline. And the sources paint such a vivid picture here.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They want us to imagine a towering oak tree.
Okay, a towering oak.
Strong, resilient, able to withstand the fiercest storms.
That's the image of self-discipline. I like it. But they also emphasize that it's not about being, rigid or denying yourself pleasure.
Right, it's not about deprivation.
It's about cultivating the strength to make choices that align with your goals, even when they're hard.
Even when you don't want to do them.
Exactly.
One of the sources had this great quote. They said, it's about harnessing your desires,
Oh, that's good.
channeling them towards something meaningful.
I love that. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Think about a habit you'd like to change.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe hitting the snooze button every morning.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or scrolling through social media instead of working on that project you're passionate about.
Oof, yeah, guilty.
How can you apply this concept of channeling your desires to actually create positive change in that area?
It's a good question. It really is about a shift in mindset.
It is.
Seeing self-discipline as a tool for empowerment, not punishment.
Totally. And the sources make it very clear there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right, we're all different.
They encourage experimentation, try different strategies, see what works for you.
Exactly. Maybe it's setting clear boundaries,
Creating a reward system.
finding an accountability partner,
The point is, find what helps you stay focused and motivated.
figure out what works for you,
Yes.
and do that thing.
Absolutely. Welcome back to our deep dive. We just scratched the surface of some pretty powerful concepts in the first part.
We did.
So now I think it's time to go deeper.
Yeah, let's do it.
Really uncover those aha moments that can truly transform how we approach self-improvement.
I love those aha moments. They're the best. And I think we laid a pretty solid foundation in the first part, right? Talking about self-awareness.
Definitely.
And that power of setting goals and actually, taking action.
Yeah.
But these sources, they don't stop there. They go beyond the basics.
Right. They challenge us to become more intentional.
Yes. More strategic, more empowered in how we go after growth.
And one of the things that stood out to me was how one source emphasized that self-awareness isn't just a one-time thing.
Right.
It's not like you just figure yourself out one day and you're done. It's a continuous journey.
A journey.
Think of it as like an ongoing exploration,
Ooh, I like that.
constantly uncovering new layers of yourself.
I love that. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, constantly discovering something new. But how do we actually do that? How do we make that ongoing exploration happen?
Well, the sources actually offer some suggestions for this. They talk about making introspection a regular practice.
Okay, yeah.
Like really taking the time to reflect on your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions to situations.
It's like checking in with yourself.
Exactly. Asking yourself the tough questions. Why do I feel this way? What really motivates me?
Yeah.
What are my blind spots?
Oh, those blind spots. They can be tough to see.
They really can. But Asking yourself those questions, it can be so illuminating. And you know what else? Don't be afraid to get feedback from others.
Oh, feedback. Yeah, sometimes we need that outside perspective, right? Because we can't always see everything ourselves.
Exactly. It can be hard to be objective about ourselves. The sources recommend really intentionally identifying those trusted people in your life.
Okay, let go.
Mentors, friends, family members, people who will be honest with you
Right, but in a kind way.
in a constructive way. People who can offer that valuable feedback. It's about being open to hearing what they have to say,
Even when it's hard.
even if it's not always easy to digest. Remember,